It's time to find out if Angel can live up to that pressure. He's going to be looking to protect Huanfeng in the bottom lane, this new superstar AD carry for Suning. And they're building all around him. LGD will be looking to dive onto that Varus as we jump into game number 1 of this series. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is all about Peanut for LGD. He's on the Elise. He's got his comfort pick. Let's see if he can address the early game.
Peanut, this split has looked amazing, especially like you just said, the early game. His early game pathing, his early game aggression. It's one of the things that has kept this team competitive in so many games. We even saw in their loss to E-Stars, they were winning 10,000 gold off the back of Peanut's aggression.
We'll see if he can replicate the success that he found earlier on in the split. And especially on a pick like Elise, you'd expect him to be able to succeed in that form. But on the other side of the board as well, SOFM, he's been kind of a coin flip jungler. He's been one of these players that when he has a good game, he has an amazing game. But sometimes it just doesn't feel to be working.
Sometimes SOFM is at the right place at the right time, you know, every situation. Sometimes he's farming Krugs when his team is posturing to do Dragon. That is the type of player we see out of SOFM, but Suning going for an aggressive level 1 invade. You do have strong champions like the Tahm Kench, like the Galio. I really can't really do much in this situation. They are going to be able to steal this red easily.
Peanut going to answer with his own blue in the top side, and we'll see if this ends up splitting the map here, whether Peanut will be bold enough to move in towards the top side of the Suning jungle, or if he'll stick to his own.
Yeah, and we already see Jarvan known a very strong level 2 ganker once you have that flag and drag. Looks like Yuki was playing a bit too far back, and SOFM couldn't find that. But a thing I really want to highlight in this draft is Sword Art on the Tahm Kench. In this iteration of Suning, we really see him try to be an aggressive playmaker back in his Flash Wolves days, being really huge on that Leona, on that Nautilus. But now he's going back to more of a style. Ooh, I'm going to...
Here we go. We've got a taunt going down onto Yuki. Force the flash immediately. You mentioned the level 2 gank from SOFM. We see it coming on through.
Slowing it down, giving you that handoff. We saw a great gank come out of SOFM, but Peanut, we said, has always been good with his early aggression.
And he's going to look to answer now. Ignite onto Angel. Flashes away. Peanut still with his flash available. So he's actually going to face check into Angel here. CC will be available from the likes of SOFM. Angel looking to go to get a taunt, but he's stunned up. There's the burst coming out from the Elise. Yuki wants to get onto it. Taunt won't land. And now Peanut easily will finish this one off. SOFM has to retreat.
The most important thing to highlight here is seeing that Peanut did get his level 3 while SOFM is only level 2. That level advantage is extremely important in these early game skirmishes. Now Angel forced to blow Flash and TP back to mid lane.
And I love the defensive play there coming out from Yuki. Oh, we actually have a fight in the bottom lane as well. Hook onto Sword Art. Kramer's Kalista dishing out so much with the Rend, and he wants a little bit more on this one. Just pushing to make sure he gets extra damage out there.
And we can highlight that Hail of Blades, meaning he is going for more of these short trades in the early game to kind of burst down Huanfeng. If Chance can hit a really good dredge line, will be tough though when you are against something like the Tahm Kench, and he does have the exhaust.
We'll be able to shut down those all-ins in the early stages of the game. Tahm Kench's just so difficult to kill in pretty much every situation, and it makes it difficult to kill anyone else. But let's take another look at the 2v2.
Yeah, again, we already highlighted the level difference. Not able to hit that heroic charge from the Galio, just very easy for Elise to turn it back around. You do always have that E to get out of sticky situations, and it doesn't even really matter what Yuki does here.
Yeah, the shielded around not able to land from Angel. Really, really nicely played from that 2v2. And it's great to see Peanut getting that kill. We already mentioned he's usually the driving force here. And with a kill in his pocket on this aggressive pick of the Elise, you expect him to continue this ball roll.
Yeah, and I want to see where he goes in this game. You would expect it to be the mid lane. We talked about the Elise plus Irelia synergy, but Peanut has been a jungler this split that has been very versatile in what lanes he can gank. We did see him able to snowball lies up in the top side, which isn't what you would expect against top esports. We already know LGD loves playing around Kramer, so he tends to head towards that bot sign. Peanut is just very flexible.
Yeah, Kramer, though, we've not seen the greatest performances out of him recently. Not necessarily up to the expectation you'd have of a big name like Kramer. So perhaps on this Kalista pick, he could have a little bit more success. There's a lot of people that can get onto that Kalista, though, from the side of Suning. Kalista often can struggle if you can't just dance around the fights freely.
Yeah, you are very short range. You are against the likes of an Ornn with Call of the Forge God. We already talked about the Jarvan and Galio combination. So they have a lot of options to get on to Kramer.
Speaking of Kramer, taking a huge amount of damage here from the piercing arrows. Huanfeng obviously on this Varus will be able to do a lot of harass during the laning phase, but Peanut, he wants to shut that situation down as he moves on in. Chance going to look for the hook straight on towards the likes of Sword Art. There's a Cocoon to follow. Heal came out immediately. The thick skin will help him. It'll keep him alive for now. Kramer, so low as well.
Suning in a really good position in the lane, really hard for them to burst him down. Still, good job going for the Tahm Kench. You wouldn't have been able to kill the Varus with the Tahm Kench W. So I think LGD executed it as well as you could, but just with where the lane was, not much you can get out of it.
Yeah, valiant attempt from Peanut there, but realistically, they were practically already under the turret as it began.
A nice thing to highlight, though, is it does give LGD's bot lane a good reset timing, so they could get back on the map first. And I want to see, how does Chance try to influence this mid lane or jungle matchup on the Nautilus?
Yeah, in the meantime, while Peanut has been a little bit more aggressive over towards the bot side of the map, you can see that SOFM started to build up a little bit of a CS advantage in that jungle matchup. If he can keep that going, if he can hit level 6 first, this first Drake could be up for grabs.
This is how I know SOFM. He's the type of you think of like ganking or farming junglers, but he's very explosive. He's going to come out with this big gank, then you know he's going to go full clears jungle again. Kind of the both worlds in there.
You kind of gotta. Sometimes you just gotta take a little bit of a break. It's like, all right, that's my work done for the time being. I'm gonna go take 15 minutes. Let me just clear my jungle a few times. I'll see you guys again when Baron spawns.
Exactly. Short bursts of aggression. Ooh, no. I was wondering if they were going to start up this dragon with no priority in their bot lane or mid lane, but he is just going to clear this ward, and we're seeing a bit of a slower early game.
We do have the level 6, though, on SOFM. Peanut going to be level 5 and on the top side of the map. I think SOFM can just get away with this one, to be quite honest. No answer so far. Peanut moving down towards that side of the map. I don't think he'll make it in time, though.
LGD are only now realizing that it's a possibility. We just saw the ping come out. At this stage in the game, team fights are going to be very close.
SOFM's going to be super low here, but the hero's entrance available from Angel. And that's enough to do to any kind of contest. Free dragon for Suning here.
Yeah, and sadly the heroic entrance, or what? Heroic entrance does not give those resistances anymore on your target, so not as good of like an insurance policy as it used to be.
It's only good once Galio arrives this time. It's less heroic until he's there.
Yeah, but if you're Suning at this point in the game, with it being slower, you did go for the on-hit Varus build. You're okay with playing this slower pace. You do have those Ornn items to count on once we get to the late game.
Ornn, obviously, one of these champions that even with the nerfs, still a very high value pick. It's interesting to talk about Ornn, though, especially in the likes of the LPL, because there's a lot of teams that will just forego the Ornn pick even before the nerfs.
Yeah, we actually saw Ornn fall so far down in this draft, just never been a real priority pick in this league. SOFM just going from objective to objective. I really like that we have Sword Art hovering up, but you already have LGD's bot lane here.
Yeah, the lane swap coming through from the side of LGD. The reset, though, will slow them down at least, and you can see Huanfeng making his way over. He's not even at the red buff yet, though, so priority very much in favor of LGD here.
And this fight is going to come down to execution. How can Suning use these big wombo combo ultimates? If they can get, hit a 3-4-man CC chain, we should see Suning come out ahead.
We might have a 5v5 on our hands. Hero's entrance into the fray as well. Knockups galore as Chance flashes to safety. Yuki doing what he can with the Vanguard's Edge. That's a nice arrow to finish one off, and that's a double kill for Huanfeng already. SOFM chased out of the pit, but Lies can't finish the kill. Bubu stacked up with arrows. But Kramer, I don't think he has the damage, and Huanfeng now chasing down with the lethal tempo. Sword Art 1v1ing Peanut, shielded around, gets the stun. There's a knockup from the Justice Punch. 1-for-1 in that fight, but 3-for-1 overall.
Suning finding the big wombo. We talked about Huanfeng having the space to play this team fight. When you do have something like the Death Realm on the side of Lies, and you have the single threat composition, I want to see him use that ultimate on Huanfeng and get him out of the fight.
And Huanfeng, we've been talking about him since the start of this series, and he's already 3-0-0. Good flash out from him, but Chance still gets a massive CC chain here. will survive for now. Ren might just finish the kill, though. Kramer gets that one. The whole team is here to answer. Cataclysm. Now Lies will go down next. Knockup after knockup. Kramer taunted, though, and he's turning this fight around. The Callista damage early, so strong. Bew gets gobbled up by Sword Art. Save, no, he went down in the end. It's utter chaos here, Lyric.
As you're singing him praise, Hwanfeng oversteps and gets deleted by the side of LGD. Great teleports coming in from Suning, though, but we almost saw them struggle at the end of that fight, not having enough damage.
This is what we wanted to see from these two teams. We wanted to see aggression, and we wanted to see them fighting for this win. It's 5 and 6 on the scoreboard, and the gold is nigh on even.
You might feel great coming from that kill trade as LGD with how many plates and how much gold you just got onto Yuki. Again, if Yuki can find a great flank once that devours down from Tahm Kench, Hwanfeng can just get deleted. He
really can, and that's the risk of playing something like the Varus. If you ever get caught out alone, you're very vulnerable. You've got to have Sword Art there to protect you at all times. And like you said, the Hero's Entrance, not as effective at protecting the carries as it once used to be.
Yeah, and I just love the confidence coming out from Suning running a comp like this. Typically, you see teams who have a lot of experience and familiarity kind of saying, okay, hey, we trust you to carry. We'll all take a step back and play a more supportive role. But Hwanfeng's been in this roster for like 3 weeks, and they're already saying, hey, dude, you got this.
I mean, you can't really blame them with the way he's been stepping up so far. But one of the things that's exciting about Suning to me is that they don't just have one style. Because it's not like every game they're running this composition where they all protect Hwanfeng. We've seen Angel on the likes of Azir. We've seen him on the likes of Kassadin as well. And we've seen him step up to the plate. So it's exciting to have a team that currently they're 2 and 3 on the standings, but they're showing the potential to be a real contender.
Suning have all the pieces there, but they do still have some issues that hold them back. One of them we already touched on before the game is Bew. He has typically been a hole in this roster, sitting under his tower, just kind of losing lane, giving freedom to the enemy top laner.
Have some damage down onto Chance here. Hero's Entrance comes on through, but doesn't find a knockup. Chance went down, and Kramer, gets finished off by Angel. This is going to be 3 going the way of Suning. The fights have been even until now, but Suning just walk over LGD.
And Suning going back to what they did last year. Last year, we knew them as this team who could use global pressure so well, especially with Angel on that Twisted Fate. This year, he's bringing out the Galio. We see them get a man advantage. 4v3 fight in the bot lane, easy to just kind of wipe them all out on the side from LGD.
And that is, as you say, the power of these global ultimates. You've always got Angel within spitting range to go for that Hero's Entrance, and now SOFM able to get this second Drake of the game as well. The bottom tower goes down. Every single objective going to Suning here.
And despite Suning's struggles last year, they were one of the most fun teams to watch because they would use these global comps, pull people across the map, and execute them so well. So it's really great to see them still keep this in their arsenal, knowing, hey, Angel could play any style of champion in the mid lane. You don't know what he's going to pull out.
And right at the very start, I was talking about SOFM being a bit of a, I use the phrase coin flip player, right? Very hot and cold. Some games he'll be amazing, some games not so much. This game, he's already 0-1 and 8. That's basically 90% kill participation coming out from him. This Jarvan pick is working wonders.
SOFM looking great on the Jarvan. It is his most played champion this split with 4 games. Let's, turn the coin, talk about LGD. LGD are sitting right now at 1 and 4 in the league. They have won 4 games, so they're not just sitting there like V5 struggling. But ever since PYL kind of lost his form and then has now retired, they're struggling to find a strong shot caller in this team. They can get early game leads, but I'm gonna stop.
Repel comes out from the likes of Peanut as he retreats to the rest of his team. Chance going to be caught up, but has a stopwatch to keep himself safe. Whew, the damage out of Hwanfeng's arrows, though. He's getting out of control already at this stage in the game, and now mid lane priority goes the way of Suning. Looking for a dive onto Yuki, perhaps, as Lai's going to deter that play. It looks like everything resets once again.
Looked like there was going to be a whole lot of something happening, but actually ends up with nothing. Suning are getting priority, forcing down this mid turret. They're the scaling comp, and they're already 3K gold ahead at 14 minutes.
Let's see. Everybody backing away from the side of LGD. They know that they can't find that one right now. Yet another tower going the way of Suning. And you saw Kramer moving towards the bot side, but realizing there was no way he was going to grab that tier 1.
Yeah, no way he can do it. Suning just utilizing all the tools they have with this composition so well. LGD were not able to start that snowball that we talked about earlier. You know, Peanut ganking mid lane, helping Yuki roam, look for these big plays on bot with this Hail of Blades Callista.
And when you look at a composition like this from Suning, you don't look at it as like an early game accelerant composition. You don't look at it as like, we're going to win in the first 20 minutes. You think, okay, let's get the late game Varus online and protect him in the team fights. But right now, he's 5-1-2. Huanfeng already looking godly in this game.
To be fair, they did start off pretty slow, right? It was just some explosive team fights that helped Huanfeng get really far ahead and accelerate this game.
Well, the second Rift Herald is on the map now. LGD have not got a single objective just yet. Suning got the first Herald. They've had both Drakes, and they've had both of the towers that have been taken. Now LGD have to try and answer. Angel's going to be caught out here. Justice punch away. As the rest of Suning starting to rotate up towards the top side of the map here. Yuki will finally get his team a tower.
I would have liked to see LGD start that Herald maybe 20-30 seconds ago before Bubu just got his TP up. They could have tried to force a fight with numbers advantage.
SOFM's found Peanut here. Here is entrant used quite early as Peanut repels away, but there's the Cataclysm to follow the flash. You're going nowhere, Peanut.
Yeah, LGD took that slow with just accepting taking the top lane turret, gave Suning time to start pushing in their waves, aggressively invading the jungle, let Bubu roam up, and able to find this pick very easily. Right now we see Suning using all of their pressure and LGD using none.
10-5 on the scoreboard, and the second Herald going the way of Suning. And what a way to start this series off for the side of Suning here. 2,500 gold lead as well. The question will be now, where does this Herald go? How do they continue to get this snowball going?
I was just going to say, we typically talk about where's the team going to use the Herald? Where are they going to put this plate gold?
He's found a chance in the jungle, but I mean, I'm a little bit surprised Yuki didn't go and try and help out his support there, but deciding this isn't a fight they want, I guess.
I'm just really surprised we saw a random like tank slapping match in the jungle, but yeah. Going back to that plate talk, we already know where Suning are going to put it. You have 4 tanks in Huanfeng. It's going to go on to Huanfeng. Nothing more to say.
Yep, I think that's fair to say here. 17 minutes in the game, but it's 30 seconds until the third Drake of the match. Suning, they've been completely in control of this bottom side until now, but LGD, the ones with vision control.
And to be fair about what we were just talking about with that damage, Angel does also do a lot of damage. We already see he's so far ahead. Building, obviously, you don't go tank Galio. It's AP Galio. Is very bursty with this Proto Belt and Lost Chapter. But LGD have the setup on the Dragon. Huanfeng's not even here, but you do have the Abyssal Voyage from Sword Art. I'm not sure if LGD can do this fast enough.
Sword Art is doing the Abyssal Voyage. You can see he's stopped on the minimap right there. So they're going to close the gap, but this is still going to just go the way of Peanut here. Kramer getting the rend in the end.
Level 1 Tom Kench ultimate sadly does not go as far as I hoped it would.
It was about 2 meters.
Not as far as I hoped it would. But if you're Suning, you're fine with this. Sure, you would have liked to, get that first Dragon Soul and, snowball the game quicker, but you're still in a commanding lead with 3K gold.
Yeah, and let's bear in mind, we're 18 minutes into the game. Huanfeng already has a Blade of the Rune King, a Rage Blade, and his Tier 2 boots. That is a really scary AD carry, because look on the side of Kramer. He is a full Tier 3 item down.
Yeah, and this is something we've talked about off-broadcast a bit, is like how mid-game has really been shortened with the addition of bounties, with plate gold.
Here we go, catch out onto SOFM here, but Yuki doesn't have the damage just yet. Angel gets the knock-up onto Yuki, and the rest of Suning collapsing. Flash out of the Aurelia. The fight is going to be deterred.
Yeah, SOFM kind of showing flashes of, hey, maybe that coin flip player is back. Was able to get out pretty easily with the Jarvan EQ, and they steal the jungle and get out safely.
And I think just realizing as well that realistically there isn't that much damage on the side of LGD just yet. They need a lot more items before they can shut down any of these tanks.
And we talked about that when you're going this Hail of Blades Callista, you have the Elise, you have the Aurelia, you really want to try and burst someone down. Who are you bursting down on Suning if they get caught out? You're not bursting down this Jarvan.
Yeah, and Huanfeng is going to be protected by Sword Art at all times. Charge down the mid lane from the Herald here. Peanut will look for a cocoon, finds it onto one. Huanfeng pulled into the Death Realm. This will be huge if Lies can get it. Huanfeng missed his chains inside the Death Realm as well. This is not going so well for Suning, and this could be the throw. Ignite goes down, Lies goes golden. That's one down as Lies gets the kill. Sword Art can't escape, and suddenly LGD turn it around. Hook onto SOFM. They won't let this go away. Flash away from him, but there's a Ren to finish it off.
Suning making a misstep at the most important point in the game, 20 minutes right when Baron spawns. We've said in earlier team fights, if Lies can get the Death Realm onto Huanfeng, you can't Tahm Kench devour someone in the Death Realm.
No, you certainly cannot. And even once the Devour came through, there was an Ignite ticking away. We've got to see something like a stopwatch come through for Huanfeng here. Maybe a QSS, but LGD, they're rewarded so heavily from this fight because Baron had just spawned.
Yeah, and we see here Huanfeng overstepping, Lies being able to flash in, get him in that Death Realm. Now it's a 4v4. You have no damage on your side. Huanfeng gets so low. Now the Ignite comes out. He's already dead. Pretty fast-paced team fight going out. It's even hard for me to follow at this point. We see Chance going with that Dredge line. And now, again, on the side of Suning, you have no damage.
And I love the flash pierce out of Kramer at the end there. Just the style kill onto SOFM. But most importantly, killing the jungler on the backside of the fight so that they could comfortably take the Baron.
And we talked about earlier how in their sole win over Top Esports, it was Peanut setting up Lies for success. Lies finding that flash ultimate and taking Huanfeng out of the fight is really what led them to get that Baron.
And now you can see Huanfeng not deterred from this all-damage build. He went for another recurve bow. None of this QSS nonsense that you see other AD carries going for. He wants to have the damage. He knows that he's the individual damage threat for his team. The question will be, can he survive the Death Realm?
Because I was going to say, to be fair, you do have a lot of single target CC coming out from LGD, so Tahm Kench really shuts that down. As long as you don't get brought to the Death Realm, you're fine. And the only way that LGD can assure that is if Lies has Flash. Lies had to use Flash to get that last play, so Suning should feel good for another few minutes.
Yeah, they'll be okay for a little bit at least. And Huanfeng, let's bear in mind, you can sort of expect this game. No, I was going to say it's going to slow down. It ain't slowing down at all. Peanut repels out to a ward there on his red buff, but SOFM still stepping on forwards. The entire squad here. Angel has his hero's entrance, but he's still happy to just group.
Yeah, we talked about how SOFM has these random moments where he just explodes. We thought that was going to be one of them. LGD get out pretty safe, but we do have Dragon coming up in 40 seconds, and LGD can't afford to give this over to the side of Suning. And we're not on Dragon Soul yet. I guess they could afford since they have Baron.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the LGD having this Baron in their pocket already, they do have to back away from the mid lane at very least 20 seconds on the Dragon, as you say. Bubu doesn't have his TP, and he's not going to be anywhere near. But actually, recalls come through from the side of LGD. Looks like they're the ones to concede this objective.
And it makes sense when you think that your advantage right now is with Baron buff. You can't use Baron buff in the jungle. You can only use Baron buff, obviously, in the lanes. So if you want to avoid where you think Suning is stronger, you could give up this Dragon and give yourself more time to scale. But we've already talked about Suning wins the scaling war.
They certainly do with this Varus that's only going to get stronger. Dragon down to 2k. The fight is going to kick off. Dragon taken, but at what cost? Bubu very tanky at this stage. Yuki trying to get onto Huanfeng, but he's knocked up and taken on down. Chance now gets the knock-up, but Sword Art protects his carry. The rest of the squad moving on in. Knock-ups galore onto Huanfeng. Hero's entrance comes through, but Huanfeng got to the safety of the back line right here. Kramer trying to escape, trying to do out the damage, and he's stacking up the Rens. Huanfeng isn't in the fight, and that means there's no damage available. There's a triple for Kramer, and suddenly LGD are turning this one around.
LGD showing up when it matters most. We already talked about how one of Suning's biggest weaknesses is that top lane. You have an Ornn coming for a flank. You don't need to do that. We want to see you play these front-to-back team fights and give room for Huanfeng. Bubu looking for that flank just pretty much gets blown up by LGD, and now it's really easy for LGD to get in there, chunk out Suning, and we even saw Lies hold on to that Death Realm for a little bit, waiting, do I need this for Huanfeng? He got chunked out, didn't even need it for Huanfeng,
and I mean, when you look at Huanfeng during those fights as well, there's so much going his way. You've got Yuki jumping on him with the ultimate. Kramer can get Chance in with the Fate's Call. Chance obviously got his knock-up from his ultimate as well. The depth charge getting that. I mean, take a look. Just keep your eyes on Huanfeng here.
Yeah, and we already talked about Bubu looking for that flank, gets deleted. We see Hwanfeng getting down pretty easily. Kramer throwing in Chance, now able to get right onto the back line. Hwanfeng's taken out of this fight already, and now you pretty much have a numbers advantage on the side of LGD, 4v3. Hwanfeng cannot auto over the wall, has to wait for the cooldowns on his Q&E, and good cleanup from LGD. Yeah,
with Hwanfeng forced out of the pit and then Angel taken into the Death Realm, there is literally no damage on the side of Suning at that point.
I'm glad we just got this graphic, because I was going to say, we were questioning Kramer coming into this game. Kramer playing so aggressively, hopping forward with Chance, getting in onto the backline was really what ended that fight with LGD coming out on top.
And when we're talking about the items, we were talking about the score lines for these two AD carries. Take another look, because Kramer has closed the gap and he's now overtaken the likes of Hwanfeng when it comes to the items, finishing off a Bloodthirster so he can stay in these skirmishes.
Yeah, and one of the big holes for Suning, kind of bouncing off that point, is we've talked about their team fight coordination hasn't always been there. I think they're a really good early game team. They have some really strong laners and players. When it comes to a lot of these team fights, you can see Bubu over-aggressing. You can see Sword Art when he's on the Leona going in too early. SOFM somewhere on the map he shouldn't be. So Suning really need to clean up their team fighting, especially in a region like the LPL, if they ever want to be a top team.
I want to revisit the conversation as well of Yuki that we talked about earlier on. When he first locked in this Aurelia, we mentioned how, Blade of the Rune King did get the buff. That's the build he's opted to go for with the Cleaver as well. But Lai's actually getting aggressed on, and this should just be a free kill for Hwanfeng. Actually uses the Chains of Corruption here. Lai's will have his ultimate available. Sword Art pulled into the Death Realm. In the meantime, Baron has been started by the side of LGD. Teleport out from Bubu. Finally, they finish off the kill onto Lies, but what does it cost them? Hero's entrance into the pit here. Lots of knockups. Baron down to 1,000 HP. It is going to be SOFM that gets it, but Kramer should finish this fight off. No, Kramer went down, in fact. Angel suddenly finds himself alone. Peanut finishes that one off. But the Baron went into the pocket of Hwanfeng and Sword Art.
That looks so good for LGD. Suning making a wrong choice going for Lies there in the bot lane. You have a Kalista and your jungler. You should never lose a smite battle on Baron. SOFM showing up big. We talked about him as a coin flip jungler, and the coin's showing up.
Yeah, they flipped heads today because SOFM is really stepping up. This looked like a lost situation.
SOFM jumped in so early and they weren't able to take him down. That's the big problem. The team wasn't in sync with what they wanted to do. Half the team were still doing Baron. Half the team said, hey, let's kill SOFM. We have a numbers advantage. And they paid the price.
And you could see one small example of what the power of this Galio pick can do there as well, in that Kramer, once he gets taunted, he goes from 100 to 0 very quickly. Angel can just combo him down on this Galio. But importantly, LGD once again get denied the advantage that they're looking for. Now with 20 seconds, and we've got Suning on Soul Point. Another fight on our hands here. Kramer trying to jump back as Lies knocked up straight into the sky. SOFM getting aggressed on by Yuki. Flag and drag out of there. Bubu getting low as well. Cocoon onto Sword Art. LGD priority on Dragon.
Suning were so impatient there. We saw the Chain of Corruptions completely whiff. You open Call of the Forge God so early. When you're this team that plays so well front to back, I don't know why you need to try so hard to force the aggression right there.
Suning going to be punished on this one, and that's going to be a second Mountain Drake going the way of LGD here. So a good little bit of resistance for the likes of Lies, for the likes of Chance during these fights.
Especially if you're Suning, you have a lot of options for the fact that you have Baron on 2 members. You could have answered that wave and then said, hey, you take Dragon, we're going to push in, we're going to force down your mid turret. You could have let them start the objective first, and you have this Varus, very good poke. You have all of LGD together tunneled into the Dragon Pit. You have a great Wombo combo, but Suning kind of making a desperate play when they don't need to.
Yeah, it feels like Suning, once things have stopped just going their way, now that LGD have put a couple of spanners in the works, they're starting to panic a little bit, and they're starting to lose control of the situation. Because bear in mind, this was all about them to start with. They got, I think, 3,000–4,000 gold ahead. Now when you look at the gold, it's LGD that have the lead.
Yeah, and that's something we really should kind of put focus on, because it does sound like we're being very negative on Suning, but it's in the context of this game where they got so far ahead early, and they should have been able to close it out pretty cleanly against LGD.
When we came into this series, I was praising Suning. I was saying Huanfeng is a god. I was saying Angel is the sleeper OP mid laner of the entire league. This game, they've both looked good individually, but as a team, Suning just doesn't seem to be all on the same page. They don't seem to be able to fit these pieces together.
It makes me wonder who is the shot caller on Suning. A lot of people assume it's Sword Art, but going back to the Flash Wolves days, Flash Wolves never really had a like strong communication system. You had 5 strong players who knew what they wanted to do on the map, but not necessarily this big driving voice saying, hey guys, let's all do this.
And it's always going to be one of those things that's very difficult to improve on until you find a player that can be that strong voice, someone that can decisively make these decisions during a game. But it's interesting that we're talking about this in the context of Suning, because one of the biggest criticisms for LGD so far this season has been Peanut has been individually a very strong player, but the rest of the team couldn't seem to coordinate around him. That seems to be slowly but surely turning around.
Yeah, because we talked about, especially with Peanut, 1, we don't know what the language barriers are on this team with Peanut, right? And then 2, we already touched on it earlier, PYL retiring, leaving this roster. Who is the voice? Who is the brain of this team?
We'll have to see as the season goes on. But one player that's been, you know, quiet in terms of the actual scoreboard itself, but slowly but surely ramping up, is going to be Yuki on this Aurelia. Now finishing the Sterix gauge. I already mentioned he had the Blade of the Rune King and the Black Cleaver. He's actually going to be surprisingly effective at burning through these tanks.
Yeah, he's going to be surprisingly effective at burning the front line. Still really just wants to jump on that back line. Varus, of course, you have a 1 damage threat. But when we talk about Yuki, he is really one of the most coin flip players in LPL. It's really showcased perfectly in their game 1 against IG, where he solo killed Rookie at level 4 on the Kiana versus Rookie's Lucian. But then 2 minutes later, Rookie solo killed him back.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Yuki's one of these players that there are glimmers. There are glimmers of glory right there, but he just can't seem to make it happen every single game. We have seen some good team fight coming out from him, but with Aurelia coming back in, maybe this is his meta. Maybe this is Yuki's patch to shine.
Yeah, like we said, Yuki does look very comfortable on these melee champions. Had a bit of a struggle this game, but, you know, they're making it work. They right now are the ones with the gold lead.
Here we go. BuBu wants another fight. Gets the call of the Forge God, but he's pulled into the Death Realm, which means Huanfeng is free in this fight. Lies steps on forward. Here is entrance alongside the Cataclysm. Lies has to use his Zhonya's very early on. Vanguard's Edge missed from Yuki, and the exhaust stopping him doing anything. Huanfeng still chilling at the back of this fight, stacking up his Rage Blade. Chance gets away, but it's 4 versus 5 now. BuBu pulled back in. That's 2 kills going the way of LGD. Sword Art going to be chased down as Kramer flashes forward here. Maybe too aggressive. Huanfeng still alive. Yuki pulled to safety as Huanfeng escapes. LGD once again winning these fights.
Honestly, looks like we oversold this 1 damage comp coming out from Suning a bit. They don't have the damage to take down the members from LGD with something like a Varus, which isn't one of our hyper-scaling champions. And then LGD, it might take them a long time to kill that front line from Suning, but once they do, it's just Suning have no options.
It's almost like just the threat of the all-in from the likes of Yuki, from the likes of Peanut, is enough to deter Huanfeng from being able to get into these fights. It feels like the entire fight, he's kind of running away.
Yeah, he's pretty much constantly kiting back while his front line is walking forward, but LGD are showing that their draft is pretty good.
Dragon coming up onto the field, though. 2 seconds. And this would be Soul for Suning. This would be an extra bit of tankiness that they could certainly work with. Peanuts here to look for a steal. Goes in, but he won't get it. It's actually Sword Art that got it, and Peanut sacrificed his life for this play. Baron buff, though, is going to be traded in the meantime. Lie's going to be the one who pulls in SOFM, but he's not going to be able to find the kill there. Once the Death Realm's gone, so will Lies be. The taunt locks up, and that's going to be Huanfeng to get yet another kill. It feels like LGD may have just thrown everything away.
It's kind of one of the funny things in League of Legends that when you're the team that loses the team fight, you technically get the reset first because you died and the enemy team sells it back. Gives them first move on the Dragon. Peanut going for the steal, dies, and now Lies is put in a very bad position, and they might just end the game.
This felt like it was all going the way of LGD, but it's all fallen apart. All in the name of a Mountain Soul as well. I'm not sure that was worth sacrificing the game for. Peanuts up in 5 seconds. Suning want to end the game though. Chance stepping on forward. He has to be the frontline. Vanguard's edge goes in. Yuki can't get onto Hwanfeng. Tom Kench too strong. Now Kramer getting onto the back line himself. The knockups are there. Here is entrance. Hwanfeng goes down. Kramer turning the fight on his head here. The taunt cannot land, and Kramer's stacking up the ends. BuBu will fall. Angel finds himself alone, and LGD hold on yet again.
In the moment it mattered most, Hwanfeng choked. We saw Kramer just playing so perfectly, kiting around the team. Hwanfeng was still focusing on the front line from LGD, and Kramer played it so beautifully, bursting Varus down, and they come out ahead when that game should be over.
Phenomenal stuff coming out from the side of LGD, and now we were just saying how Suning could end the game. Suddenly, it's flipped on its head. It's LGD that have complete control. They already have the Baron buff from before. Kramer's going to be charging down this mid lane. They could get an in-hit.
Yeah, and we see, it's kind of weird. We see similar problems in both teams when it comes to shot calling and their kind of team fighting and coordination in their play. And it's just kind of a back and forth of who makes the next mistake.
They do have to back away in the end. They can't get the inhib. Take another look. Keep your eyes on Kramer.
Yeah,
here.
Look at Kramer here, and we see Hwanfeng come out of the Devour, focusing on the front line of LGD, and Kramer just being able to free hit Hwanfeng, jumping around, kiting around this team fight. And now, as we've said numerous times, Suning just don't have the damage. Kramer gets to jump around and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and you could see there, Angel desperately trying to get any likes of CC onto the side of Kramer, but once he's got this attack speed, he's hit 6 items at this stage at 36 minutes in. You just can't keep up with him. You just can't get onto this Kalista.
Yeah, it looks like it's getting harder and harder for Suning to play the game. Again, when we came in, we did expect Suning to have the scaling advantage. You have an Ornn, you have a really beefy front line against champions like Kalista, a lot more mid-game focused with the Hail of Blades against the likes of Elise, which, again, is a 1-2 item skirmishing champion, but Kalista's very good at killing tanks with the Blade of the Rune King and her spears.
Yeah, and especially when these fights are going on for such a long time, because there's only one damage threat, remember, from Suning. These fights will last a long time, and that is the perfect situation for a Kalista.
Yeah, these fights are going the distance, and Kalista isn't one of these like short trading kind of burst you out 80 carries. She wants the long haul. She wants to get up her end stacks and then take you down. And we're seeing Suning and SOFM, BuBu, they just can't get onto the back line.
They really can't. And maybe this tank composition not working out quite as effectively as they wanted. And when you think back to the draft as well, maybe that becomes an issue of the draft in the first place, because Kalista was the first pick that LGD went for, and still Suning went for this full tank composition.
It's really funny that we keep questioning these drafts, and in LPL it seems like whoever makes the weirder draft choices ends up on top.
It does always seem that LPL is a little bit backwards when it comes to the meta, when it comes to the drafts. But so much of this is down to the execution as well. Because, you know, Kramer slips up just a tiny bit during this next team fight, he's going to be the one going down.
Yeah, it really comes down to execution. Can Suning get on the back line? Or
not for now.
Not for now.
Oh, pulling onto BuBu. But BuBu is a brick wall at this point, it has to be said. And he's starting to get those upgrades across his team. Obviously, Ornn did get nerfed coming into this patch, so the final upgrade will come through at level 17, I believe.
And as the game is going on, this build from Yuki really makes sense. Hwanfeng just doesn't have the damage to burst down multiple targets. Obviously, he's, again, this lethal tempo. Varus wants to take it one step at a time. And if you're focused on Yuki, Kramer gets to get his work done. If you're focused on Lies, Yuki and Kramer get onto the back line. There's just too many targets for Hwanfeng to focus.
And you can see the way Chance is posturing at the start, or not even at the start of this fight, before the fight. He's looking to try and get onto Hwanfeng. Look at the shield Hwanfeng has with the Mountain Soul and his Bloodthirster. He's got an extra third of his health bar.
Yeah, he's pretty tanky himself.
Let's see what LGD can do to finish this one off. They found themselves a gold lead. They found themselves an advantage. And now, with Elder Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, maybe they can find the team fight they need.
Yeah, LGD will have first turn on the straight. The question is if they can burst it down, but Suning are going for the trade for the Baron buff.
Yeah, they're not interested in this Elder Dragon. I don't know if they can rush this in time. LGD is going to look to answer.
I'm just really surprised LGD wouldn't elect to trade.
This could be the last fight of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Chance walks on in as Bubu gets out Hero's entrance. Doesn't find as much as he wanted. Lai's going to be on the back line. Pulls Bubu into the death realm himself. SOFM goes in, but straight back out again. Vanguard's edge from Yuki, but he's exhausted. Chains of corruption across the team. Kramer starting to stack up the ends. He's got one for himself. Knock up onto him, but Kalista is still going. Kramer's going huge. Triple kill for Lies. And LGD take down Suning.
Kramer showing up big. We were just questioning their decision not to just go take the Elder Drake. They showed why they made the right decision, and the game is now over.
Who needs a team fight buff when you can just win the team fight anyway? That's what LGD say. Flash from Peanut because they know that they can finish this one off. 20 seconds on SOFM. He'll be the first one to come back onto the map, but a Jarvan alone definitely can't hold the gates against this force. The question is, do they have enough minions? Looks like the wave is arriving, and I think LGD have done it. 27-17, LGD take down Suning.
Really confusing game coming out from Suning.